So welcome to Donna. Donna is a cognitive behavioural hypnotherapist and an author. Welcome, Donna. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Donna Reynolds, and I am a cognitive behavioural hypnotherapist. That's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it?
It is.
So, I have been a cognitive behavioural hypnotherapist now this will be going into my 6th year. And I chose cognitive behavioural hypnotherapy because it is goal focused. I did start off with counselling, and it just wasn't for me. And by goal focused, what I mean is often people come to me and they'll say, I've got this issue or that issue. And with the hypnotherapy, it helps people relax. So then we focus on what they want. So I've had clients who have been scared to ski. I've had a lot of people who want to give up alcohol. I've got a couple who've given up, not given up, who have fear of dogs. So there's various different things, but each person has had a goal, if that makes sense.
You use the hypnotherapy then to implement the cognitive behaviour side of it.
Yes.
And can you tell us about the books that you've written?
I have written a book which should be coming out in February, and it is called When Life Cracks You Open. And the first paragraph of the book is, do you remember the first day your life changed forever? The future you had planned, gone in an instant, and none of it your choice. And this book is about when life cracks us open. Everybody has had a moment, or we will have various moments in our life, and it just helps people navigate them and to come through the other end in a healthy, balanced way. And it's using my cognitive tools in order to help them do that.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So what is the difference between like cognitive behavioral hypnotherapy to just everyday hypnotherapy?
Well, it's as I've suggested, explained, it is you set yourself a goal. So you come in with something in mind. And often the reason that people come to therapy is the root cause of everything will be overthinking, which creates anxiety. So what hypnotherapy actually is relaxation. And people think that's all woo-woo and all this stuff, and it's actually just relaxation. And when your brain is in a relaxed state, it's more suggestible. So, for instance, give me something that might make you anxious, that you might in your life that you've experienced that's made you anxious.
Big crowds of people. I could give you one.
Okay. So, for instance, that I've had that from other people, and then they say to me, it's called social anxiety. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I have a client with social anxiety, what we can do is using the hypnotherapy is help them relax and then take them into imaginary situations until the anxiety subsides. And then when we're doing that, it's making them less nervous and less nervous. So when they go into the situation, we can use things that will trigger them to relax. And when they go into the situation, it takes the anxiety away. Does that make sense?
Yes. So it's kind of like exposure therapy, but not
Exactly
the
that.
exposure
Yes.
part, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a really funny story. I have a client who keeps saying to me about various anxieties, but then keeps saying he is really nervous about intimacy, and I always laugh and I say, you need exposure therapy for that one, because you're not going to get over it until you do it. So yeah.
And so our community is the home ed community. So in particular, how do you work with children and teens?
Okay, I have worked a lot with children and teens, and our biggest charity in Exeter, they employ me as a consultant to go in, and I create programs from children from all ages. I think we started at about age 6 up till 16, 15, 16. And what I do is I build confidence. And at the heart of anything is confidence. So if we go back to Dali's thing, her situation, she's saying, I'm nervous in crowds. Well, if anybody is thinking about it, it's actually they're lacking confidence, whether it's in themselves or like just confidence in that situation. So what I do is I then build around the children. I create a working relationship, we call it in therapy, but I create a trust relationship with the children. And I speak to them using my cognitive tools like, wow, that's amazing. Tell me more about that. And they get a trust relationship with me. So when they've got a trust relationship with me, they're inclined to try things. So I use food with them. And if you think about everyone in the world, we cannot survive without food. It's a tool that we all need. So I use that in order to get them to try things that they think they can't. And it really makes them nervous. Oh, I don't want to do that. And I'm not want to taste that. And I literally, the only children that haven't got involved with it were the 4 children that didn't speak English. And it's been an amazing program. And what I do is I help build their confidence, and then I speak to them and I say, if you're ever in a situation where you're nervous and you think you cannot do something, you just remember what you did in here today. Because when you came in here, you thought you didn't like it and you had the courage to try it. You're amazing. Well done.
So it's building relationships as well, isn't it? Yeah, like you said, building on that trust.
And they get me back. The children keep asking, and the children keep asking me to come back. And it's so funny because they look at it as the healthy eating class, and when they come out, they say that's my favorite class. And you never imagine when you're at a program and it's sports and it's outdoor stuff and it's forestry, and they come in, they go, healthy eating class is my favorite class. I mean, that blows my mind. I think it's hilarious, but I love it.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what is a common theme that you've seen in your work with most kids struggling with?
Well, it's confidence. Everything comes down to confidence. If you think about, you walking into a room, it's a lack of confidence. Them not wanting to do their homework is because they think they can't do it. And once they start to believe in themselves, things become easier.
Do you work with parents as well, Donna, or is it?
Yeah, I actually am quite, I wouldn't say strict about that, but it is my thing. I say to parents, I need to speak to you both before your child comes to me, because we have to work together. There's no point in taking a child out of a situation and helping them change their behaviour if you're putting them back into the same situation, because it's never going to work. So everyone has to be on board in order to move forward.
And what signs can parents look out for if their child is struggling with their mental health?
Well, the thing is each child is different. So parents will know their children and they'll know their behaviour. Does that make sense? So if you've got a child who is quite quiet and withdrawn anyway, if you've got a child who's really outgoing and then they start to become withdrawn, then you could notice that. But there will be behaviours within in a household that you will notice with your own child. It's being aware and just paying attention. So that's why I need to speak to parents, because parents will say to me, well, I did notice this with my child, and the reason I want to bring my child to you is because we're worried about this, or we're worried about that, or do you think you can help my child? And listen, always listen. Children are telling us. We shouldn't ever dismiss any conversations because they are telling us. And it's something that I've done in my own house. Even if I'm busy, I always take that time. My daughter's 22, my son's 18, and I still take the time to listen, because they will tell you how they feel.
If parents want to engage with this type of service, how can they ensure that the person is qualified and that they're suited to working with children or teens?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because it's something I'm quite passionate about. A lot of hypnotherapists don't have to be qualified to work with children, which for me, that I find that I thought that was quite a concern. So I went and I qualified in my safeguarding 1, 2, and 3. I have an enhanced DBS. So an enhanced DBS means that you are qualified to work with children via, you have to get that through working at schools and things. You can't just sign up and get that. You have to actually have experience with working with children in areas like schools, etc. And that's how I gained mine. You have to ask. You definitely would say, what is your qualifications with working with children, and what is your experience working with children? I'm very passionate that we can do more harm than good, especially because therapy is a trust relationship.
What advice would you give to parents that are homeschooling, home educating?
Well, advice, I would say that it depends. Is the child struggling? Is there an issue with it? Are you struggling? Then just take time to relax. I think a lot of people put pressure on themselves. And I say this to my kids all the time. Your brain is not going to absorb if your brain is not relaxed. So you, as a parent, take the time when you feel relaxed, and then you will engage much better with your child. And if your child is struggling, then if you are both relaxed, you'll come together in a much nicer way, because you'll feel more patient. And if they are struggling, you will take the time to explain things easier, build their confidence, and then just start working up like that. And then it'll just be an enjoyable experience for both sides. Please do not give yourself a hard time. Children are not easy, but they're worth it. And we should enjoy the experience. And when the adult is enjoying it, the children will feed off that. That's in any situation with children. I do have a website that you have, and it is donna@donnareynolds.co.uk. I have written and published 12 articles in Brains magazine on mental health. And it covers so many different things, because mental health is not one-dimensional. Every single person is an individual. So we must take them and treat them as an individual, because no two people experience the same thing the same. So just take it and have your own experience with it. And if you look at some of the articles that I've written, that's how I like to write them, so that people understand them and imagine themselves in that situation.
I have one more question for you, if you don't mind.
Go on then.
Is hypnotherapy similar to like emotional regulation?
It
So I
does
know you're
help
saying
you.
it's calming, it's like it's helping, like helps you calm down and stuff. And like you were saying that you have to be in a calm state in order to help your children to be receptive and to hear them. So I just want to know, is there maybe hypnotherapy or something like a tool you can use from it as a parent that you can use in your daily life?
Yeah, I would suggest parents practice breathing exercises. It's one of the things that I teach my clients in their first session, and they come back and say the breathing is amazing. So if parents look up and do some breathing exercises, I highly recommend that, because if you do some breathing exercises, even if you do them, you and your kids the child that you're working with, let's do some breathing exercises before we start our homework. I promise you that will make a massive difference. I do work a lot with adults. I tend to work with adults one-on-one, and children more. I have worked with a few children one-on-one, but mostly I have worked with children in group settings, in school settings. Yeah, and I love it. And it's just when they ask me back every time, it just lights me up, because I just love working with them. They're so sweet.
What does it look like to do that with a group of kids?
It's in a school, set up in schools. The charity have me go into the sessions that they run, the programs during the school holidays, and it's set up in various schools. So I do a little circle so everybody can see me, and I speak to every single child individually before we start each group. I ask them a question. So this time it was Christmas, and I went around every single child, and I try and remember their names, but they just love, they love the interaction. But when you're asking someone questions, they like the engagement. So this time I said, tell me about your Christmas. And each child told me their experience about their Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. So you love it. I did work in a facility that was a lot of trauma, and I used cooking for them. And the children, we would dysregulate if we did it for any longer than like 15, 20 minutes. But they love the one-on-one. They love the interaction, and they love the one-on-one because it makes them feel validated. And who doesn't like to be validated?
And you're based in Devon in the UK, but you offer online services?
I do online, and I have a gorgeous therapy room for my clients that come to the house. I do a lot in person, but I've done America, China. I mean, I have done global, which is nice. And I won an award recently for my services to mental health, which was a global award, which I'm very proud of. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Donna.
thank you so much for being on. It was lovely talking to you. It's such an interesting topic. Like, I love everything that you're doing. It's so cool.
Thank you very much.